Greetings, survivors. Failure to report here. So it has been a very long time since I have done a clustered server video. The last one is a long time ago. It's really old at this point, and the user interface for doing clustered servers just looks completely different. So I felt it was time to do a clustered server 2.0 tutorial. So let's go over this. What is clustered server? Clustered server is when two servers are directly connected and you can transfer in between these two along with your personal items as well as dinosaurs and tames. And you do this by going to any tribute interface. So because we're in an unofficial server, we have the craftable tribute terminal. But if you're on an official server or your unofficial server just doesn't have this, the other interfaces are the obelisks or any supply or loot crate. So the things that fall from the sky, right? And without a doubt, every time, whenever I need to see one of those, they're not around. So the obelisk in the far distance there, or a supply or loot crate, right? They're usually pretty common to find a supply crate. It shouldn't take too much effort to find. But anyways, let's go ahead and crack open the interface here so I can go ahead and talk about that, because this is the actually confusing part, right? So what you have is the tribute inventory that you'll see right here. This is like irrelevant, right? This is for sticking stuff in to summon bosses. This one doesn't pertain to transferring to another server at all. What you have here is creatures. And with creatures, how it works is the top is available creatures that you can upload, and the bottom one here will be creatures that are uploaded. So let's go ahead and upload this Tech Raptor really quick. All right. He is now stored in a cloud. If you're on a clustered server, you have 24 hours to keep any item or dinosaurs in the cloud. So if we go over to ARK data really quick, and I drag and drop this rifle in here, you can see it has 23 hours and 59 minutes. Once that timer runs out on both my creature or any items that I have stored, they are gone forever. There's nothing an admin can do. There's no restoring those items. They are just gone because the cloud is tied to you personally, your Steam account. It's not a server saved file. The admin can't go in the files and revert your cloud state, right? There's no backup for it, nothing like that. So if you are going to use the cloud to store things, make sure that you take them out before 24 hours is up. All right, so let's pretend that this rifle is some building materials, because it would be sensible to go over there with some building materials. You want to get established on the other server, right? Unfortunately, I am established on the other server. Well, kind of. I have a little hut. But anyways, I already have a base over there, so I'm not going to be bringing materials over. But let's say this is my building materials, a bed for sure. Take a bed. It would even be wise to have at least a one metal foundation and a bed in your personal inventory, because I won't have access to any of this stuff when I go to the new server until I find a supply crate or I get to one of the obelisk terminals. So keep that in mind, unless you're on an unofficial server like us, where I have the craftable tribute terminal. So as soon as I get over there, I can immediately drop that down anywhere that I spawn. But if you're on an official server or an unofficial server that doesn't have the craftable tribute terminal mod, then this doesn't work. All right, so let's say we've got our dinos that we want to take over to the other map in here already, and we have all the items that we want to take, right? What do we do from here? We go to travel to another server. Now, it's important to make sure that you don't have any of these side filters enabled. Hide full sessions, show password protected. If you have those clicked on, then you're not going to see any sessions. They shouldn't be on by default, but a long time ago we had issues with that kind of stuff, and a person just couldn't find the other server, and we troubleshooted it for like 20 minutes, and finally we figured out that it was because he had stuff clicked down here. So anyways, here's the other server. What you're going to want to do is click join with survivor, and boom, just like that, it is going to go over to the other server. Now, it's important to note that what this is doing, it is removing your character from the server that you're on currently and transferring you over to a new server, right? So your character is no longer on, in my case, that Ragnarok server. So if I were to play on the Aberration server, I get off, and then I quick join back onto the Ragnarok server instead of loading into the Aberration server, it's going to act like I don't have a character. And it's going to do that because I don't, right? My character has been moved over to this other server. That said, you retain all of your assets on the other server. Your tribe is still intact. All of that stuff is still there, but it won't be there until you come back. Like, you don't exist on that server until you come back. Your stuff will still be there to everybody else, right? If somebody else were to walk by my base on the Ragnarok server, they're still going to see my base. My dinos are all still going to belong to me. My structures will all still be mine. They won't be able to get into my stuff just because my character's gone. And But yeah, like essentially it's almost like you don't exist on that server, but all of your stuff is still there and safe. So in this case, you can see that I spawned in a bed. It's my little hut that I made to bounce back and forth between the servers, right? And there's my little goat that I forgot. Whoops. And so because I have this craftable tribute terminal, I don't have to go looking for a supply crate in order to get back out of here. I'm not going to go ahead and demo that because obviously a supply crate's pretty obvious. You should know what those are. If you're looking into transferring to different servers, you probably already have a pretty good idea. But that's the basic gist of it, right? So now when I open up this, I go to creatures. Here's my raptor. Boop. It's in, right? I want to get my items out so I can start doing stuff over on the other server. Boom, done. And going back is the exact same process, right? But the keynote, like I said, is if I were to disconnect here, like I play for a couple hours, I get offline, I need to make sure that I reconnect to the right server and not just jumping over to the other one. So going back, same process. Travel to another server. We'll bounce back over. One thing to note is your tribe. So like you can have a different tribe on another server, right? So let's say I have a group of friends that I play with on Ragnarok and I transfer over to Aberration, right? But none of the guys that I play with on Ragnarok have Aberration and they're not playing over there. But I have some other friends that I met while on the Aberration server and we're like, hey, let's tribe up. You can have 2 independent tribes between the 2 servers. It's not shared between the 2 clusters, right? So I don't know, like it's a pretty trivial thing, but for some people that was a big deal. So, you know, just so you know. So I'm back. When you load in, you may see something like this where it shows up as like an allied thing or a yellow thing. It doesn't recognize it as yours, right? Give the server a couple of seconds. You know, it usually takes a minute or two and then pop, we got green text, right? It is now recognizing us as the owner. We're part of that tribe. We own the structures, whatever, and we're good to go. And now everything is as it was before we left. So I hope this helps. If you have questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I do my best to keep an eye on that stuff and answer whenever possible. Sometimes it might take a couple minutes, but that is a really quick rundown, or as quick as I could do it, on clustering and server transferring and how it all works. So I hope this helps. I'm FailureToReport, and I'll see you guys next time.